This is Good Morning Kenya, the only way to start your morning. I am Jane Wamboy, and I'd love to know where you're watching us from. So check in pale Twitter using the hashtag Good Morning Kenya. My handle is Jane Wamboy across all the socials, and official station handle that you need to make sure that you have mentioned on all those platforms is at KBC Channel 1. And just to send out love to everyone who's already checked in. Hapa naona Mark the Prince anasema good morning to you too. Naona Thomas Hamisi aka Loverboy anasema well represented, located in Ruaraka na wakilisha, watching the show as you rightfully should. I also see Shapira anasema good morning ladies, hope you had a blessed weekend. Looking forward to an informative week on KBC. Rightfully so, my guy. Naona big shout out going out to Z Waluga, Omaset Samsung aka Lucky. Menda kusema this is in regards to the particular feature that we had run for you in regards to leprosy being a big concern in Kwale. Apa anasema even me, I still think it is a disease from the Bible, and he is following a pale Ukunda. Ladies in the house, as always, anauliza gentleman ako wapi, usijali, gentleman anakuja. Ako kwa njia, ako kwa jam anakam. Omaset also has had something to say in regards to that particular piece on the paper about those students who kunywad sanitizer. One of them died, 3 of them ended up blind. Anasema youths are addicted to pombe, and that's why if they miss it, the next choice is sanitizer. Big shout out to Francis Mwangi. I also see Gesheru Nganga anasema anauliza Sam alienda wapi. Hebu mtaga hapo hivyo Sam Joroge. Atakwambia mali alienda. We have William M. Mwamburi anasema as always the trio ladies following the show from Watamu, loving the conversation. Mtu wa Goggles, Mark the Prince, official Levy Classic. Man, thank you all so much for checking in. Keep doing so. Tukiendelea na conversation, I will be checking what you have sent through so far. Alan Waria, good morning. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so we want to get into our family conversation for today. And as I had mentioned earlier, this is a gentleman who has gone the extra mile with his organization to just renovate a school as part of their CSR projects. But as a family, home ownership is something that most of us dream of. You want to live in your own home, and not just a home, but your dream home. But what does it take to own a home in Kenya? What do you have to go through? What hoops do you have to jump through? What do you need in order to own a home here in Kenya? That is what we want to find out this morning as we get to understand from our guest's point of view. And without much further ado, we have in studio one Farrowson Gichovi, who is an architect as well as the founder of Pacific Reality Investment. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Thank you for making time to be with us this morning.
Thank you very much.
I pronounced your name right?
Yes.
Farrowson.
Good.
Yes. Maybe you could start by giving our viewers social media handles as Pacific so that they can also see what you guys do on the socials.
Thank you a lot. Good morning, Kenyans. My name is Farrowson Gichovi, CEO Pacific Reality Investment, a company that deals with the construction of affordable housing and also development of houses for sale. Our social media page is on FB is Pacific Reality Investment Limited, and then also we have our website which is www.pri.co.ke.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you are interested in this conversation about home building or any other projects that involves architectural designs and all that, you can always check out their website. Again, questions, comments, clarifications, use the hashtag Good Morning Kenya on Twitter. So I want us to start with this particular project that you embarked on in Embu in regards to the school. I understand it's part of your CSI project, but we just want to understand what went into it. And you chose a school.
Yeah.
Why in the first place?
As Pacific family, every year we make sure that we do give back to the community. So this last year, 2020, we thought of going back to our roots. I come from Embu, so that was one of the primary school that I attended from nursery school to class 8. After seeing the situation of the school, the way it was dilapidated, and then also even I would say our people like the politicians were not able to do something on the school. So we thought as a company we try and and upgrade the standard of that school, and I can say we are very happy because the effect of that that CSR was massive, and we thank God for everything. So we thought it's very important also to check on teachers, because mostly when we get like CDF mostly goes to classes, that is for students. So what we did as Pacific, we started with the teachers, the staff room. We were able to renovate all the staff room. We bought them new furnitures, and then also we did some classes, paintings and everything. So we were able to at least change the face of that school, because it's somewhere that it was one of my journey to where I am today, where I started.
Now, this is just one school that you were able to, help out. But what more can the county governments do in line with what you saw in this particular school? What are the biggest concerns concerning the structural integrity of our schools, and mostly public schools?
Yes, I would say our government, or the county government, they need also to give priorities to the things that affect the teachers and the students. So you find that when they're doing their visibility to see what they can give back to the school, they are not able to capture, the basic things that they should do to the schools, because you find schools that were built early 60s, early 70s, and early 80s, they're on the same kind of state. So what I would urge them is to check on the stability of the classrooms. You see the infrastructure to get into those schools, and also at least do like painting, at least to brighten, the whole area, because you find schools, most of the primary schools, I would say, are very dull. You walk into a primary school, maybe where you schooled, you'll be shocked. The same state you left like 20 years ago, 15 years ago, the same state. So they need also to prioritize and you see, give things that can be even to brighten the student in the same institutions.
Absolutely. Basic things like those are things that excite children wanting to go to school. All right. Now let's get into this conversation about home ownership. From your interaction with the clients that you have worked with, what is their perception about owning a home?
I would say, as Pacific Investment, we have come to at least to provide what we call affordable housing to our customers. The interaction that we get with people mostly is whereby people think that home ownership, is a huge milestone that somebody cannot be able to achieve. Now, there is a concept of what we call the affordable housing, which many Kenyans have started to embrace. And then today, I think we shall discuss more on the processes, and you see pros and cons of buying a house and building your own house. So what I would say, the only thing that lacks there outside let's say generally in Kenya is the information. People don't have information about construction. So most of the people are not able to achieve their dreams due to lack of information. Another thing is when somebody wants to build a house, the only thing that they do, they consult their immediate family members. So you see,
that is true. That I have witnessed.
So instead of going to the professionals, like when you get sick, you go to hospital, get prescription, they take tests and everything. So now we have a way of doing things in Kenya. You want to build something, you talk to, to your family members, your close circle of guys. Sometimes they can either advise you or misadvise you on the same. So I would say home ownership journey can be achieved well and affordably when you follow the right procedure and use the right professionals for the same.
Okay, this lack of information, is it a cultural thing that it's engraved in us, or there aren't enough resources to get this information that we need before we embark on this journey of owning a home? I
would say currently we are seeing a shift on the same, but then again it's like a cultural thing. We don't want to venture into home ownership professionally. We just want to do it in our own way. Because I would say, like in my company, what I've seen, women are able to give their work to contractors, and also they're able to use the professionals. As men? Yes, as opposed to men. Men have an attachment of the way they do their houses. So if somebody is, let's say, is a doctor, somebody is a lawyer, you'd want to be part of that construction. Hii mjengo ni yangu. You understand? They have that thing, hii mjengo ni yangu. I want to check it in the evening, when you go out, to talk about your mjengo and everything. But then since things have changed, and then also we have a lot of professionals in the construction industry, I would also advise, as much as you want also to be part of that construction, it's good also to give the professionals to do the work for you. So when you come to the part about information, over time, there is more information that is made available to common wananchi who might be needing it, as opposed to how things were a number of years ago. Sure. All right. So the information is there, but then again, people are not able to, to dig deep on the same. Like today, if you get a flu, you go to your phone, try looking what are the symptoms and everything here. But when you want to construct, you just want to do it the Juakali way. So information is there. We have many government bodies that are giving information about construction. So people just need to embrace the change and then start doing things now professionally.
All right. Now, let's just dive deeper into this whole conversation about home ownership. And I want us to start with perception in line with age. We are in a space where we think home ownership is something that should come a bit later in life. The younger years, ni ufanye kazi, ulipe rent, utajenga nyumba much later in life. Is that changing from what you are seeing?
Yes, I would say it's changing. And then also, sometimes when even clients come to office, we're able to advise them. Because you see, there is, I would say, let's say people from 25 years to 35 years.
Yes.
Now, this is a time that you need also to plan for your shelter,
Yes.
to plan for your family. Now, we have seen a shift from where people used to wait and retire, then start doing their own houses. And then again, if you have checked like the way our teachers used to do in the village, so they have a small kind of a house, and then they take their children to school, they will come to build once the children have completed school. So you're not even able to enjoy your new home. So what has happened currently, the institutions that are giving people money to build, there is a construction mortgage that is given to people who are working. So people from 25 to 35 years are now starting building. Like in our company, we have like 20% of very young people who want to settle their family. Because you see, a home or a shelter is one of the primary requirements for anybody. So, and then also with the thing of Corona, when Corona came, it also taught people that you need your own space. Yeah. You need your own space because when...
A secure space.
Yes, a secure space where you want to raise your children. And even, you see, there are some things that people were not, thinking them broadly, because when the lockdown came, now you find you're in an apartment, you have very many people, your children cannot go to play outside and everything. So, and then also there is like, when you have your own home, you can do like a garden, behind your house and everything. Yeah. So I would say age group doesn't matter on construction. And I also advise people, it is better to build when you're young rather than to build when you're old. Because also you'll also not enjoy the kind of house you want to do. Yeah. On the same line, let's say you are like 50 to 60 years, you cannot enjoy now doing a maisonette because you see of the age. But then again, if you did your house at maybe 25, 35, you're able to enjoy that house for a long time. Yes.
And that actually brings me to the next aspect about home ownership, and this is long-term plans in terms of designs, because we have people who want these Western concepts of houses, and these always have a floor or two. Yeah. And it's not as practical as you continue to age. Yeah. How do you advise your clients, and this when our viewers were watching us this morning, when it comes to home ownership, the design of the home shouldn't just be an in the moment type of design that you're looking for, but something that you can live in. See at much later in life, have kulala kwa bedroom yenye kwa ground floor, juu umeshindwa kupanda stairs.
So the concept that we give, because nowadays there is a lot of what we call the dynamics in construction designs. Yes. The concept that we give to people, depending on their age bracket, we're able to ask somebody if this is your final. You see, there's somebody who does a home, but in future, he thinks also to do another home, either in their village or maybe in another place. Okay. Because you find somebody saying, I want to build in Donholm because it's very convenient for me to come to Nairobi. But then again, maybe after 45 years, I want to get around in Kiserian because now I want to retire and relax. Okay. So we're able to advise you on the same. Another thing that we advise also, when we do let's say the mansionettes or the townhouses, the ground floor bedroom, we do it very spacious. And then we also advise somebody to do it all en suite. The house to be all in. So that if you're not able to climb up, you can be able to use the ground floor also as as the way you can be able to go upstairs there. And then also there is another aspect of maybe attached servant quarter, because you see sometimes it's not even about the age. Anything can happen in life. Yes. So you find yourself that you're not able to climb up and everything. So we have to do something that we call practical living space. Yes. So that just in case anything happens, you're able now to adapt within the system of your house, because you see like those Western houses, some of those houses, they don't have even what you call a ground floor bedroom.
Yeah, most of them don't.
Yes, they don't. Okay. So we advise our people to have at least one spacious bedroom on the downstairs.
And this is why it's important to consult the professionals, because unaweza jenga a single room downstairs and 20 years to come it will be your room na ni kwa nyumba yako unaenda kuoga juu. My friend, yes, information is made available from the professionals because they understand this space better. Now let's come to issues to do with location. Yeah, this is something that I feel most of us don't pay much attention to until they find themselves in a situation where this location is either good or bad. Yeah, sure. When it comes to picking a location for building a home that this is for my family, this is where I want to maybe spend the rest of my life in, how vital is that when it comes to picking a location for your home?
I would say location starts when you want to source for land. So when you're sourcing for your plot or land, you need also to think about where you work, Do we have schools in the same area? What's the road network?
Yes.
What's the infrastructure? We have seen Kenyans buying land because, you know, they get very nice prices, enticing
Good
prices.
deals, yeah.
Good deals, without thinking, you know, on the long run, what will happen. So what I would advise is when you're buying land, please look at the area that has all the amenities.
Yes.
Get an area that has good road infrastructure. Get an area that also has water and Kenya Power connection. Because also we have another challenge whereby you buy land, maybe even 10 years to come, you know, there will be no connection of either power or water. Another thing is look at the kind of soil when you're buying land, because also soil determines the kind of structure you're going to do. Look at the topographical nature of your land. You need also to see, is it too slopey? Is it too flat? You know, you need to check on those factors. Number three, when you buy land, when it is, let's say, when there's a lot of the sunny, you know, when there's the dryness, kukuwa na jua kapsa, you find that you can even buy land in a swampy area. So you also need to check on those factors. So when you buy land, do your due diligence, investigate. Understand whether when it rains, the area can flood. Because we have seen in the news that people bought houses, very nice houses, people built very nice houses, and then when it rains, those houses are flooded. Yeah. So you need to check on those factors. And then another thing is you need also to check on the security, because also you need to check on the security. Another thing is also to look at the road network. Because you find
how accessible that area is.
Yeah, how accessible that area it is. Because also determines, you know, the time you take to go to your place, you know. Because you see, let's say you build a house in a remote area, then again you'll be using a lot of fuel. So you're not saving anything. You have your house, but you're not saving anything because there will be maintenance of your vehicle and everything. So you need to consider those things. Even if I have my house, is it practical? Okay. Because I can have my house, but then again, I will spend a lot of money in transportation cost, you know, in repairing, those things. So you need to check broadly and then see what fits you and your family. Another thing is the size of land. Because people, we have a Kenyan way of people lying to people that you are buying an eighth, which obviously is not an eighth. So when I would advise, and what we advise our customers, when you want to go to buy land, you can carry your tape measure. Yeah. Do the because somebody will tell you I'm selling you 50 by 100, and the land is might be 40 by 60. So when you want to build, it cannot even fit what you want to do. So the space is very limited. And then also another thing is also to make sure that you get the right paperwork for your land. Okay. Yeah.
Now, speaking of getting the right things for your land, let's talk a bit about financing. Yeah. This I find is the biggest challenge, at least so far from, you know, my interaction with people who have been in construction, and even my father who is heavy into construction. Financing is vital towards the progress of any home ownership dreams. From where you sit, what aspects of financing should anyone, regardless of your age, what aspects should you pay attention to when it comes to financing your building your home?
I would say financing depends either whether you're employed or you're in business. Okay. So I would say, like somebody who is in employment, there are very many options. Banks nowadays have been able to give people what you call construction mortgage, which runs from 15 years to 25 years. So you need also to check with the organization whether they can be able to have an arrangement with your local bank so that they can be able to finance your project. Yes. And then also they give you a very good interest rate on the same, if it is construction mortgage. Now when it comes to people who are in business, we always advise them use a SACCO, use a bank, start saving. Another thing that I say, like in our company, we have a concept which is called Jenga Pole Pole. You can be able to achieve your house, not within the 6 months, but maybe within 2 to 3 years. Yes. So you can start with whatever little you have. What you need to do is to have a goal, have a plan, deal with the professionals. Then you can do your house in stages. This means, like, if you're doing a project of like 3 million, you can have a target. Every 6 months, I'll be doing work of 500,000. Yes. So you save, like, every month, you save like 70,000, 80,000, 100,000. So when you're able to do the foundation work, you stop the work. And then again, you save maybe for another 6 months. You do the skeleton, you save again. So you can be able to achieve your house without even going to get financing. Because also, like now, people in business, they have that handle of giving the requirement for the banks. But people who are employed, they have a lot of options to run around with. Banks, SACCOs, you know, there are very many options to own a home. Okay. Yeah. And why is it important to have some savings as the basis of your financing when you want to build a home or any structure? I would say let's say for institutions, they do also to see what you call credit worthiness of somebody. Because you see, like, banks cannot give money just to everybody. Yes. So they also want to see what is your discipline in handling money. Because we have also instances whereby people get money to build and then they mismanage the money. So what banks have done, they have come up with a concept whereby when they give you the construction mortgage, they don't give you the lump sum money. No, they pay in phases. So when you do foundation, we raise a certificate and they come and they inspect and then they pay. because what used to happen earlier, you could be given a construction loan, let's say 10 million. So you think 10 million is a lot of money, and then also you get local fundis or people can mismanage your money. They lie to you, this house can be done within 5 million, 6 million. So you're able to now to spend the 4 million. Now, when you spend the 4 million and the house is not complete, so you're not able to complete that project. So we have had cases where people lost their jobs. Banks also, there are also banks that stopped even giving people construction loan because of the same dynamics.
Okay. Yeah. And maybe, credit score is not something that is very alive to the youth, especially. COVID-19 brought it a whole reality about young people being blacklisted because of fintech, small loans. Understanding the importance of a credit score from a very young age.
What I would say from a very young age, when you want to understand about credit score, you need to know your priorities. Yes. Because even those people that are listed in those credit bureaus, you find that you get a loan either to go and booze or maybe to go and entertain your friends. So what banks want to see is what we call how disciplined are you in the finances area? Because as I've told you, I've built a house for a guy who was even in university. He was able to do side houses, and we did a house for him in Zimmerman. Very young man. He was only 26 years. He was able to work around. And then when he raised a deposit of 50%, the bank was able to give him the other 50% to finish the house. So it also depends with the priorities of the person, and then also your focus. Yes.
All right, let's now come to the budget. Somebody could have dreams of wanting a house that ukiangalia inakaa 50 million, but their budget can only allow for maybe 10 to 12 million. Understanding your budget in line with actualizing the kind of home that you want. How do you bring the two when, they may be far-fetched, but you can get something good at the end of the day?
One is, as I said earlier, is to use the professional team to understand your concept. So like now when you walk into our office, people come with a lot of expectation, as you said. They can pick something from the YouTube, they can pick something from the internet, and then they say, this is what I want, this is my dream house. Now we can be able to customize that dream house to your budget. But then again, also you need to understand, like if you take a photo of a house, you don't know the actual measurement for that house, because this is another area people go wrong. Now, going back to that again, I also want to advise, when you want to build, the first process is to understand your concept. The other process is to know your budget. Now, once you know your budget, you need now to meet the professionals. The most important people you need to meet is an architect, an engineer, and a structural engineer, and a QS. These people, they have different professional background.
Quantitative surveyor.
Quantitative surveyor. So an architect will be able to put down your dreams and your aspiration. But then again, they can only give you an estimate. They cannot be able to give you the actual figures. So for you to get the actual figures for your project, now you need to sit down with a quantitative surveyor who will be able to give you a breakdown of the materials and the cost that is involved in that project. Now, let's say you want a house of like 200 square meters. Basically, a house of like 200 square meters, you can get it from around 5.8 million to 6 million.
How many bedrooms are we talking?
That is like 4 bedrooms.
Okay.
Yeah, all en suite. With a dining, and also with a spacious lounge and a complete finished house. Then maybe whatever you saw on the paper was like 400 square meters. So we can be able to bring the 400 square meters to minimize this to 200 square meters. But then again, now if you pick the plan from the internet and then you start doing the construction, now that's where people go wrong.
By yourself.
Yes, and that's why you find most of the people, they start construction, ikifika ring beam, wanakwama. Because they're not able to understand the first initial concept of construction. So you advise, use an architect, use a structural engineer, use a quantity surveyor, use what we call the construction project managers. There are very many professionals in construction industry that can be able to guide you and then also to take you through. Because another thing, as you said about land, you can also see a very beautiful design, but they cannot fit your land. So you have to be practical. Let's say you want to do a bungalow, like for 1.5 million, because you can achieve a bungalow of 2 bedroom from 1.5 million. But then again, you have a plot which is 40 by 50. That house cannot fit in that land. So you need to understand, because you have seen customers coming to us, they have done the drawings and everything, and then when you go to their land, we find that the house cannot even fit 2 plots, the 2 adjacent plots. So now we go back again to square one to start now designing according to the same size of land. And also that comes also back to where now, when you bought that land, you never confirmed the measurement. Now the tricky part is, our titles are written approximately. An eighth, approximately 1 acre. So what happens once you get the title, there's no way that you can now go back and reclaim, I was cheated.
So it could be plus or minus.
That is the thing now. People need to understand that.
All right.
So when you're buying 50 by 100, there's approximately
50 by 100, but you cannot be sure if
it's
40 by 90.
But then we have good companies that are able to give you 50 by 100. They give you a 9-meter load, and then the plot is 50 by 100. But if you don't confirm, and then you go and draw a house, the house can either not fit your plot, or maybe you can also be estimating your house. So you need to follow the right procedures on the same. Another thing is whereby use like approval processes. People avoid those things a lot. You need to check with your local government.
Yes.
Every county has a department for approval process. Go to them. Let them approve your drawing, because when you start construction, now you get those serious issues of now the approval requirement. You also need to know the bylaws of the estate that you're living, because let's say you buy a plot in Karen, and then somebody buys a plot in Kitengela. You can buy a plot in Kitengela today, and then you go and build tomorrow. But then again, when you buy a plot maybe in Karen is a zoned area, you need also to know the nitty-gritties, the rules and regulations of those people who are living around that area. So you find you bought a plot in Karen, and then you want to do something that is substandard. The neighbors, they'll stop that work. So you need also to gauge where you are building, the environment, your budget, and then use the right procedure. Have your project registered with the National Construction Authority. Have all the paperwork done, because once you start the project, now those hitches when those guys come to inspect, they find you don't have an approved plan. You don't have a qualified foreman. You don't have even an engineer who is supposed to check on the structural bit of your house. Now you start having issues, and the construction can even stop, and they can even be demolished.
Now that brings me to the aspect about looking at the actual manpower that you get to employ, and the importance of having these professionals, because as you rightfully put it when we were starting this conversation, it's a fact, by the way, I'm not gender stereotyping here, but it's a fact. You find most men, they want to be in charge of their construction. And ambiwa even an architect, anasema hapana nataka hivi. And at the end of the day, you find they're doing themselves a disservice as opposed to good that they would have if they just listened to the professionals. Your advice to our viewers this morning, even if you want to be involved in the construction of your dream home, it goes to a certain limit. Maybe what would you like to tell them this morning? When you wanasumbuana sana na the architect, the surveyors, anataka mambo yende venye anataka, not according to the facts.
What I would advise our viewers today, if you want to do construction, actually it's very important. Like now in our company, what we tell people, be part of that construction. So that at least you can be able to view what is happening and also to give your ideas and the concept. But then again, you also need to give the professional a chance to prove, a chance to at least actualize your dream. Now I would advise men, because that problem is mostly with men. As long as you have a project, go to the right company, get the right team to do your construction. Then you can involve yourself in what you call now checks and balances. You can be able to check its provision and everything. Because also you don't need to sit back. You need also to you need also to give your input on the same project. But the best option is give somebody your work. Let them be answerable for that contract. Because if you get a contractor who is registered, they are answerable. Like now in our company at Pacific Debt Investment, we give warranties for construction, what we call a post-construction warranty. Now if you use the normal Juakari way, if anything happens, you have no fallback plan. So if you use the right contractors, they're able to mitigate on what we call now post-construction warranty, where you're able to come and check on the small damages, because nobody is 100%, I can tell you that. So you might find some sockets were not working. There was an issue with maybe some leakages in your house. One tile had some issues. So if you use the right professionals, they take responsibility. Another advantage of using professionals is you don't give them lump sum money. You pay them in phases. So you're able to check on the quality of work.
Before you progress.
Yes, before as opposed to use somebody who tells you, bring me 10 lorries of sand, and this will be enough. Because like another thing that I also educate a lot of people is quantities. When you want to build, what are the quantities are you going to use?
We'll be coming to that aspect of material, but also still on that aspect of being involved, it is also not advisable to be detached from the whole process. Don't just sit back and wait for things to happen. Find a balance.
Find a balance,
Okay, now let's come to that aspect of material, because this is also another area that... Speaking from experience, mimi nimeenda na baba yangu kununua bao ya roofing, tumenunua changarawe, tumenunua kokoto, and it's a really hectic job. And sometimes you find the quality of the materials is also a problem. Simiti quality is also a problem when you compare the brands. How do you go about sourcing for the materials for this house, and especially even looking at the finishing bit? How do you advise viewers who are watching us this morning who are in the middle of building their homes?
What I would advise our viewers, there is one thing that people need to take care about construction materials. Don't buy construction materials in bulk. Don't buy them in lump sum. The way Kenyans do, kawaida rugani niletee lori moja ya mawe, niletee lori moja ya mchanga. What you need to do, the reason as why we have a quantity surveyor, he or she can be able to give you the quantities. So what you want to do, if you are buying a lorry of sand, you need to ask, what is the tonnage of that sand. Now, those guys who go to the sand harvesting areas, when they come back, when they pass the weight bridges, they are given a receipt, which indicates very clearly they have carried this capacity of sand. They have carried this capacity of stones. Now, what people do, when you walk around our areas, you see people have some small kiosk of selling stones and small heaps of sand.
Yes.
So if you're not careful, this guy goes to the quarry. They take, like, let's say 500 stones, they load them, and then they pass the weight bridge. When they're coming to your site, they can offload like 200 pieces of stones, and then they bring the 300 pieces of stones. Now, what will happen, you're sitting back here in the office, so you just call your fundi, mawe ilifika, yes. How many rollers? Leo ameleta roll mbili. But then again, you never knew what is the quality. So what we do in our company, we count in pieces. And then, like now, timber. Timber is also another serious area where people get conned.
Yeah, I'm speaking from personal experience. We went through that.
Yes. Now, what you want to do for timber, if you want to get somebody who is serious about his business and somebody who is not a crook, tell him, I'm buying timber from you, pima mbao, then again, we shall pima zikifika kwa site.
Yes.
You understand? You confirm from the ground and the site. Because what happens, they can give you an actual measurement at the yard. Then again, when they load them, there's a way that they are able to collude with the transporters, because mostly they'll tell you, I have a transporter who can give you a fair deal.
Yes.
And some of them, they can also entice you. They tell you, I'll transport for free. So what happens, like in our company, what we do, we take the measurement from the ground, and then once the timber land at the site, our foreman and the site manager, they are able now to confirm. So if we find a difference, we are able now to mitigate that situation at that point.
Yes.
Yes.
That is actually what happened in our case.
Yes.
Ulipima kwa yard,
Yes.
zikapakwa
The green thing,
the green thing.
Yes.
Zikalodiwa.
Yes.
And there was no point at which where we stopped along the road. Na tulienda now.
Yes.
But kufika nyumbani,
Azitoshi.
there's a shortage of almost timber worth 60,000.
Now, what happens in that case as well, the tape measure that they use, you have to be very careful. So when you also want to gauge whether you're dealing with a genuine vendor, what you need to do is also carry your tape measure. A tape measure will cost you like 500 shillings. Tell them, I don't want to use your tape measure. Ile refu kubwa. So what they do, they have a way of, they connive with those guys who manufacture those things. So if you are measuring 10 foot, wametoa mbili. So it is 10 there, but actually it is 8 feet. You understand? Wow. So mostly people lose between 40 to 30% of the quantities of their timber. Because as you said, you can buy them, you confirm, and then again you follow that track mpaka kwa site.
Tulifuata nyuma yao.
Yes, but then once you leave at the site, now the fundi comes and tells you, we were asking for 3,000 feet, but what we can see here, it is 2,000. So what you need to do is also to check on the tape measure. The tape measure also determines, whether you are being conned or you are not conned. So when you want to buy timber, our viewers, please insist also on making sure that you have your tape measure.
Yeah. All right, now I'm informed we're almost out of time, but I quickly want us to talk about this whole conversation about buying home versus building a home. We find there's people who want ready-made, ninunue, tumalizane now, but there are those who are intent on building a home. What are the pros and cons of each? Let's start with buying.
I would say buying home has a lot of advantages as well, because you buy something which is ready. So the only downside I would say, when you buy a house, you're not able to customize according to your needs.
Yes.
So you buy a house which is ready, and then you find that also when you buy, let's say you're buying off plan, time taken and the promises that people get from developers sometimes can be missed. So that can also go against your wishes and what you wanted to do. Yeah. Now, having to build your own house has most advantages, because one, we shall build according to your design and your taste and preferences. Another thing is you'll be part of that construction until completion. The other thing is you're able to customize according to your needs and preferences again. Then again, spaces, because spaces also matter. When you buy a finished house, mostly, let's say, in the common middle class market, the rooms and even the houses are not that spacious, and even the space that we get, they are not huge, because we get, like, when you get into a gated community, you find that the subdivision of the plots are very tiny. But then when you build your own house, you're able to buy a plot according to the size that you'd wish, and then you do a spacious house, and then also you're able to customize and do landscaping, do gardens and everything. So I would say, depending, because there are people also who have had a rough experience in construction, they do not want even to hear about building a house. But I want to encourage Kenyans today, houses, construction industry, we have genuine people who can be able to give you genuine services anytime. And then again, also, you have also genuine developers who can give you genuine spaces. So I would say it also depends with the customers' preferences and what they would want.
All right. Yeah. Now, before we get to wind up, there's Kerry who's asking, what would you advise for someone to build for a family of 5, that is a father, mother, and 3 children, and a home that would be comfortable for them, what would be your advice? What are the specs that you would advise they go for a home, a family of 5 members?
I would say a family of 5 members, I would advise from 4-bedroom. You can do a 4-bedroom, which is like you do all in a suit house. This house will be able to fit you, because another thing you need to consider, you'll be with the children for maybe not more than 20 years.
Yes.
So you need to also to consider the space that you want. You're able to manage it, as you said, from the beginning. So I would say a 4-bedroom house is very ideal for such kind of a family.
All right,
yeah.
So 4-bedroom would be ideal.
Yeah.
Another one, Samson asking, kama uko na budget around 9 million, trying to buy a house in the city, what kind would you advise?
I would say 9 million when you want to buy in the city.
And this, I'm guessing, is an apartment.
Yes, you have to. Yeah, surely that would be an apartment.
Yes.
But then again, if you want to develop your house, 9 million would be enough to do a very nice mansion it. Because when you buy near town,
yes,
you see the cost difference versus where maybe when you build the outskirts of Nairobi is very huge. So if you want to buy, you can get an apartment, maybe 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom. You can get apartment within near what we call the metropolis. But then again, also when you want to build, you can also get a very good mansionette. From 5-bedroom, you can get with 9 million.
So that's a good money. Okay, if you choose to buy, it's up to you.
Yeah, sure.
But then again, you can always look at the alternatives that are available for you, looking at your lifestyle, your employment, children, if they are involved. Those are things you need to be look out for. And finally, Kanzela asking, when it comes to SQs, would you advise detached or attached?
For SQs, it also depends with the size of land.
Okay.
Because if, let's say, you're in a plot of 40 by 80, we cannot advise you to do a detached servant quarter, because you don't have enough space. So this also boils down to the space that you have. For a quarter of an acre, you can do a detached servant quarter. But then again, if you have a small plot, the normal Kenyan plots of 50 by 100, you want an eighth, we advise you to do attached, so that at least you can be able to have space for parking and space. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's one here, Nitwaji Kangeve anasema, just advice to those who are watching this morning, normalize building slowly. Again, what you had mentioned, just building in phases.
Yeah, sure.
Build your SQ, move into it, then build your home slowly.
Yeah.
That is something I completely agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, especially during COVID, it taught us that, finances are something that can come and go anytime.
Yeah, sure.
So if you have a piece of land, you've been sitting on it, and you are looking for an alternative for your future home, and renting is proving to be a problem, jenga ka SQ, a very nice one. 1 bed, 1 room, bathroom, ndani, make it self-contained, move into that, then build your home slowly. Trust me, you will save a coin or two, and at the end of the day, you will get the kind of home that you want, because you will build it with ease. Hautakuwa na pressure ya ati lazima nijenge haraka, you compromise on quality and all. And at the end of the day, you'll be happy with your decision. 2 years down the line, you have a beautiful home. Thank you so much, Farrowson.
Thank you.
For joining us this morning and for sharing with us your wisdom. Remind us once again how our viewers can be able to interact with Pacific and, of course, your social handles.
Thanks for also hosting me today. I'm very humbled. Our social media handles, we have a Facebook page, which is very active.
Yes.
Pacific Reality Investment Limited. You can get our everyday updates on our construction services. And then also we have a website, www.pri.co.ke. And then our office number is 0722 816. 0722 816. We are based in Roy, whereby you can come and we take you through the processes.
Yes.
And then again, also we have show houses which are ready. So whenever you want to build a house, it's very important also you come and see the kind of work we do. And the last advice, as you give a contractor a project for you,
yes,
it's very important also to do a due diligence of their previous work.
Verify
very
them.
Important.
Yes.
Yes, verify them. Check with their previous customers, like down the line, like 3 to 4 years, because most contractors build what we call a relationship with their customers. They can be able to give you their ups and downs on the same.
All right.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Thank you so much, Farrowson Gichovi. He is an architect as well as the CEO of Pacific Reality Investment. Check them out on social media if you are looking to build a home for yourself and your family, in whether now or in the near future. Do good by you. research, get as much information as you can before you embark on this journey to make your home. It is a permanent decision, and once you've done it, the only way to undo it is to bring it down, and that's gonna cost money. Nyambura anauliza hapa, Jane, kwani uko kwa mjengo? I have learned a thing or two from my father, so trust me. Hii mambo ya mjengo si rahisi, but it's also beautiful when you get to see the results at the end of the day. So that is that in regards to this conversation. Thank you so much to everyone who has contributed to this particular conversation. I've absolutely enjoyed it. The hashtag is Good Morning Kenya, and at KBC Channel 1 still remains to be the official station handle. At Jane Wambui is how you can find me, but unfortunately that is all the time that we had for today. But tomorrow we have such fantastic conversations lined up for you, so you definitely don't want to miss out on that. Be sure to join us again tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. mpaka Sunday as we get to bring to you fantastic discussions courtesy of Good Morning Kenya. On behalf of the crew, my name is Jane Wambui. We wish you a lovely day. God bless. See you tomorrow.